I guess the core principle is that unless we are expounding and then preaching scripture, our preaching has no authority. So all preaching must in that sense be expository. That's not the same as saying that all preaching must be consecutive exposition working through a book. I think there are great benefits of doing that as the staple diet for a church, but there's no rule that says you have to do that. You preach one verse, you must expound that verse. If you preach a topic, you need to expound scriptures if you're going to preach the topic. So all preaching must be expository in that fundamental sense. My thought is that there are a number of advantages of doing working through a Bible book as the sort of normal pattern for church life. There are a number of advantages for that. But there's nothing wrong with taking a topic or doing a topic on the Nicene Creed. I think a number of people are doing that just at the moment because it's a big anniversary of that. And that's a way of teaching some really fundamental doctrine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. In fact, I think it can be a very beneficial thing. It's quite hard to preach it, though. It's much easier to preach from a verse or a passage or preaching through a book. That would be my thought.
Entirely agree. And I think that making the main point of the scripture, the main point of the message is at the heart of what expository preaching is, and that it can be done in a consecutive way, which is normally going to be the primary way, can be done in a textual way. And occasionally it is useful to do it in a topical way in which you burrow down into one verse of scripture and then see how that theme is developed in other parts of the scripture. The Puritans did that to great effect very frequently, but it's probably not the usual way that we would approach it.